Hello, this is my wife's Citroen Saxo. You may remember it from such videos on this channel as 20 years with a Saxo. And in this video, I'm going to talk you around some of the modifications on this car. In the last video, I went on about how this car is kind of like a time warp, how it stood the test of time, and it's, you know, it's still in the family, it's still being used daily, blah, 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 and made a big deal of the fact that, you know, picture A of it in 2004 and picture B of it now doesn't really look any different. In this video, I'm going to tell you about all the modifications and why it's completely different. You may be wondering, why are you putting the car on a ramp in the dark, dank workshop? Why is it not outside in a natural light? Well, there are two reasons for that. Firstly, I'm going to finish the modifications, and for that I need the ramp. When I say finish the modifications, you'll see what I mean. And secondly, it's going to rain and I don't want to get wet. Inside the Saxo, we find a number of modifications: pedals, gear knob, handles, steering wheel, all these things that people wouldn't necessarily notice. They are all OEM modifications. I've taken a little bit of footage of them outside before the weather started going. Although it hasn't started raining yet, it looks like it's about to throw it down. So, in no particular order, we have door handles. These are aluminium door handles. They are very, very rare for a Saxo. Why are they so rare for a Saxo, you might ask? Well, they were only fitted to Saxo Furios. And when I say Saxo Furios, I don't mean all Saxo Furios. I mean Saxo Furios from about late 2001, early 2002 until the end of production. So nothing with the interiors that's the same as the West Coast with the multicolour seat belts and the minging piping and everything like that. So I think 2002, I would guess, 2002 model year, they got these. Why did they get these? And the VTS and the VTR and everything like that didn't? I think it's because the door cards on a Saxo Furio were the most basic type of door card that you could get. They were plain plastic, like this. It wasn't even soft touch plastic, it was like that. Yeah. The whole thing was like it. So Citroen probably thought, we need to do something. And you're going to say, well, why the hell did they go to the trouble of making aluminium door handles for one particular model of car? They didn't even do this in the Forte, which was the 1.1 version of a Furio, except without the body kit and everything like that. Well, these handles here were originally fitted to 106 or Peugeot 106 Quicksilver and GTI models past a certain year point. This bit is the same as the 106, but the backing piece in there is not. That is for the Saxo, because the 106s have a rectangular insert. I did think about getting some 106 ones, which are slightly easier to find, pulling them apart for these, but it would be a lot of work. And then I found the Furio ones, matching both sides. I was well happy with that. My missus laughed at me when I spent the money on those, but I think they are important. I don't even care if they look right or not. I think they look okay. But it doesn't bother me. It's just they're so rare, I wanted. And it's not even my car, but I wanted. So, yeah, I think Citroen raided their parts bin from Peugeot, for the Furio model, and it's an actual alloy handle. It is real aluminium. So that is a very rare piece. Good luck finding some of them. These are not so rare. If you want some for your Saxo, you will not have a problem. Cool, that's artistic, isn't it? It's just dark, but they really, they shine. Yeah, those pedals, along with that gear knob there, are fitted to a number of PSA vehicles. These particular ones came from a Peugeot 206cc, although you would also find them on a GTI or a GTI 180. You'd also find them on a Citroen C4 VTS, because my Citroen C4 VTS had those exact pedals. The beauty of them is they are made for the same pedal pads. Because of part sharing, the metal pedal pad these things are bolted to is the precise size. They look OEM. They are the same shape as the original pedals. They're just not from this car. They never fit to Saxos. They're only fitted to 206s and other stuff. I don't know. I think it was just 206s. And come on, there was something else fitted with them, wasn't there? Did the C2 have them? I would have thought the C2 probably had them, the VTS or something. Gear knob, a bit more common, as I say. My C4 VTS had one of those. This is off a 206, but lots of different PSA cars have those. And the beauty of that gear knob is it uses the original fixing, same as the original gear knob used, which fell apart because it's just cheap plastic. And yeah, it uses that. The gator fits it perfectly. It looks like it's meant to be there. It looks OEM, but it isn't. It's not for a Saxo at all. It was never fitted to them. It just happens to fit them. Something that also just happens to fit them, albeit with a little bit of modification, is that steering wheel. And that's probably the mod. Those were the ones I was most excited about. That's probably the one. I don't know how my missus feels about it, how my wife. I think she might agree. I don't know. She said it made a big difference, but oh God, there goes my tripod. Yeah, she might agree. I don't know. But I think that steering wheel is probably my favourite mod on the car because it looks completely OEM. And that is the Saxo's airbag in the middle of it. But that wheel is not from a Saxo. That wheel is from a late Citroen ZX Vulcan. And it needed a certain amount of modification, which was done in a hurry to fit. Which you can kind of see on the back, it's been shaved. And if I had time, I'd have like smoothed it all off properly. But yeah, one day. Needed a bit of modification to get it in, nothing major. The airbag, straightforward fit. I think, or did I have to take something off the back of it? I think I had to take something off the back of it. I think it stood out. But now it's in there, it's one of the nicest mods. It feels so much nicer than the plastic. And of course, the original wheel for this car had that thing where the plastic became detached, so you could twist it. And I found a low mileage wheel. I found because all the wheels on Saxos are the same. They're all this horrible plastic. And I found one off a 40,000 mile Desire or something like that. So it had that in there for a while. But I was hunting around. I thought a 106 GTI wheel might fit, but it doesn't. The airbag is a different shape and the texture and grain on the plastic is totally different. Not a good shout. They do not work. The ZX one was one that sort of came to mind when I was hunting around. So that is a result. I was well happy with that. That goes in. And that's the only Saxo I've ever seen with one. I've never seen one with that wheel before because those wheels are really rare. Most ZXs didn't have leather wheels. So it's only a Vulcan or a 16 valve. Past what, 1994? They're not common. Also not common are the seats and the rip. Yeah, these seats, this is a slight cause of confusion for a lot of people. So these seats here are from a Peugeot 106. And a lot of people look at these and go, I thought the 106 GTI had black leather with grey Alcantara inserts. The 106 GTI did have leather with Alcantara, and the earliest cars had velour. The seats were the same shape, but the full leather was a cost option. It was a really rare one, but it was a cost option. Most people didn't go for it because most people probably thought the Alcantara was nicer. But the Alcantara is synonymous with the 106. So as soon as you put one in a Saxo, it just looks a bit like it's out of a 106. This popped up relatively cheap. I think about 150 quid for the whole interior. Well, for the seats, because the door cards they're not from that interior. These door cards are from a Desire model, I think. I think they're from a Desire. They're just plain velour. It's the closest thing you could get to match this. And yeah, I think they came on a pallet from a scrapyard, full leather. Yeah, about 150 quid. And they had to be done. I'm not massively into leather myself. At the time I was. I think my wife likes the interior. I think it's one of the things she does like about the car. Looking at it now, if it were my own car, I probably wouldn't do it. Just because I've gone right off leather. However, I don't know. No, I might. The reason I'd be struggling to make my mind up on it, even now, this hypothetical thing that isn't even happening, is that the 106 velour interior looks a bit crap. It's just got these like yellow, blue or red flecks on it, like big V's on or slashes. It looks like a paint splash. This car did have one of those interiors in briefly as a kind of tester. It was only about 40 quid. And yeah, they were the best seats it had in terms of driving it. In terms of comfort, they were the best. They were the same seats as these, but because they were material, they were velour, not leather, they stretched. So you kind of sunk into them a little bit better. They were a little bit softer. The bolsters kind of held you a little bit firmer. You didn't slip around on them. But they just looked awful. So they were a quick thing. They weren't a long-term thing. This interior went in 2000, I don't know, it must be 9 years? Must be like 2015, something like that. Yeah, it's I think it looks really good. I think she's pleased with it. The downside of this interior is that it's ripped here, and this has all come out completely, because this seat here is actually not from that set of seats. That seat there is from an Alcantara set. So that bit there is off another seat. Why is this? Because the first one ripped here. So then I went all the way over to Warminster or wherever it was, somewhere around Fordham Bridge or something like that. And I bought a set of, I bought an odd seat, an odd leather and Alcantara seat, one seat from a car being broken. And then had them switched over this panel here, the backrest bit, switch this over, take the ripped Alcantara, because it had ripped Alcantara in it, take that out, put that in, and then about a month after I did that, it ripped. So I did all that work. You can tell because, missus will kill me because I'm showing all the secrets. It has no map pockets, whereas the proper full leather one does have map pockets. There you go, real geeky stuff. So I've got the original one upstairs with the map pocket. So I'll have to get, one day we'll have to get that repaired. Well, she can get it repaired, can't she? It's her car. Yeah, one day it'll get repaired and whatever. But for now, that's fine. Don't forget the car is in daily use, and these things get worn. So yeah, that's pretty much everything it's got inside at the moment. Oh, the sunroof. The sunroof's a fun one, apart from, well, that's an LED, that's a mod. Yeah, the sunroof is from a Mark 1. The Mark 1 that Hilda's engine came out of. Hilda, you can see just there, not the DS, well, it's not a DS, but not that one, the one next to it, the Hillman Imp. The sunroof in this car was originally tinted much darker. I don't know if that's a Mark 1 thing or what, or it must just be a year thing, because this sunroof here is out of a Mark 1 and it's lighter. The old one was a little bit gacky, the mechanism was a bit seized up. This one was much freer moving, it was a bit cleaner. And I had to take the sunroof out, the headlining and the sunroof were out because it rotted around here. And really, I've just bodged that up. I really need to sort it out properly, and it was leaking. And I put that sunroof glass in it because it was just better condition. And also it dawned on me that if you wanted it shady, just pull the blind across. And if you want it light and airy, pull it back. If you pull the blind across and then pull it back, you want it light and airy, but you've got a dark tint sunroof, you're not going to get light and airy. So it seemed like, yeah. So I just put that one in it. So that sunroof there is out of an R-Edge VCR. No real modifications on the outside, except these. She put these in ages ago. They're clear. The lens is clear, but the backing inside and everything is black. So they're like, I think they were called Ultra Black, I'm not sure. Oh, and then there's the small matter of the VTS engine under the bonnet. Oh no, that's yeah. There is, however, one missing modification in that car. And if you are a geek for these kind of cars, like me, you will know what the modification is. You will be shouting at it. It's got the alloy handles, it's got the gear knob, it's got the pedals. Put it in the comments what you think's missing. Do it quickly now, because I'm going to tell you what it is anyway. So it is this. Look. It's a handbrake with an alloy button on the end, which was fitted to 106 Quicksilvers and GTIs from 2002 or something like that. It's quite a lot of work to fit it. So while I'm under here, I can show you the other modifications, which are quick. The oil leak that's under here is a modification. Don't know what's caused that. Obviously, you've got strut brace in the engine bay, which you might have seen in the video before. Last video I did. If you haven't seen that, then this isn't really making a lot of sense to you, and you might as well watch that one first. But we've also got a lower strut brace, which probably does nothing. We have power flex, lower poly bushes here, lower arm poly bushes. The rear ones change the geometry of the wishbones. So the back of the wishbones are angled down slightly further, which is supposed to reduce pitch and dive under hard acceleration and braking. don't think it does. It might do if it was lowered and everything like that, but it's just a standard suspension. So it's also got poly bushes in the anti-roll bar there. It has HEL stainless braided front hoses. It doesn't have them on the back yet because the back is going to be getting an overhaul. The rear end will be getting an overhaul probably at the end of the year because it needs it. It has rose jointed, kind of, were they rose jointed? Yeah, they probably are. They do count as rose jointed gear linkages. And I've made my own little custom bush thing to go in here to make the shift lovely and smooth. What else did it have? Some of the engine bay's been seam welded, which sounds a bit extreme, but basically these things rust so badly, it made sense because it was starting to try and creep up behind the seams where the spot welds are, and if rust gets up there, the spot welds can just let go, but no one notices, so you lose strength and it becomes a bit iffy and a bit weak, and you know. And I thought, so I made modifications and stitch welded and seam welded in certain places, not everything, but just some bits of it. And there's some there, for example, a little bit there, a little bit there. I've gusseted the sides here, so the people who know these cars, the mount above the front bush mounts on the wishbones, above that is normally just a U section, and that can rot out. I've gusseted these ones so that it's now a box, so just to give it, you know, the original stuff's all there, it's just there's an extra bit welded on it just to beef it up. Other than that, it's pretty much as is. It's just, you know, obviously this is all VTS here, radiators VTS, it's all to be expected really. Not a modification as such, but one thing you do notice at the back, other than the fact the exhaust looks like it's leaking a tiny bit, which is frustrating, that silencer is a VTR silencer, so it's a genuine Citroen one, new old stock, got fitted a while ago, but the box itself is a VTR one, so it's a lot smaller than a VTS one. A VTS has a big ribbed box, and then the centre section for the VTS is a slightly different length to compensate for that. So this has a VTR exhaust, which on that engine makes it sound a little bit boomier and beefier, which I like. It's like OE plus, if you like. It sounds exactly like a Saxo. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm going to be doing some work under here. Oh, bloody hell, it's all just peeling off. Note to self, this car is not doing another winter in Britain before it's had this work sorted out. But it is solid. It's got the original steel wheel, which is a Rally Steely. Same wheel as a Rally, but it has these inserts welded in, so you can use the flat or tapered wheel nuts on it, or wheel bolts I should say. Right, so you're wondering what I'm going to be doing under here. Basically, I'm going to remove the heat shield above the exhaust, hopefully without removing the exhaust. I would much prefer that. And then I'm going to try and remove the handbrake cables from the handbrake lever. And then I'm going to remove the handbrake lever, but I do that from the inside because that's where it is. That will be fun, but for now, I need to get this off. There you go. It's actually quite beefy. The bottom of the handbrake. So basically, you just have to undo that nut. Oh, okay, that's weird. I assumed that there, let's put the light on. I assumed that there was a nut, a lock nut that was supposed to go up here, but apparently maybe it's just a limiter to stop it going too far. Talk among yourselves. So that there is the handbrake, which has been disconnected from the handbrake cables. If we look at the UPnDOWNer handbrake lever, we will see the similarity. It is the same. So that's easy, right? Well, no, because I've got to take it out the other side yet. The reason for this is handbrake is there. Now, there are two fixings holding it on. One of them, where's it gone? There it is. One of them's there, so that's probably fairly easy to get to. The other one is back about there somewhere. I do not want to cut the carpet because that would be chav. Although it would be fitting, I don't want to do that. I'll see if I can get to it with a selection of flexibles and swan neck spanners and things, but there is a chance I'm going to have to take out all of this here, including the centre console, to get to that. I managed it! I got it out without taking the seat and the carpet out. I'm amazed. I had just about managed it. It's going to be quite fun putting the new one in, but then there's only one bolt that's got to go in, so it's not the end of the world. Yeah, there's the two. You're there. There's the two. It's cheap plastic and alley. Now the thread on that one is a little bit minging, so I'm going to go and clean that up and clean the ratchet up and put some new grease in it and stuff. But yeah, hopefully that's not going to be too hard to put back together. Simple. Right, so the new one is in. Lovely, lovely. I'll get a bit of grease on this actually, just to if I knew where it was. There we go. And then just a case of winding this locking nut back up. Really, I need to set the tension on these. I can't roll the car. Well, really, I'd be better off lifting the back end up and seeing when the handbrake starts biting. But the jack is supporting the exhaust. I'll have to unsupport the exhaust. I'll have to hang the exhaust back up just to do this. It's silly. So all I'm going to do now is just, if I just take the back wheels off the ground, and I can take the handbrake as far as I can. Right, there we go. Off the ground. Right. Oh, just starting to kiss. Yes. I'll back it off a tiny bit. Right, let's see how tight that lever is. Right, so, oh, okay, right, that's got it. And then just tighten that one up. And then hook that up there. And then, oh, the ones at the back. Yeah, come on. There's one. There's two. To be honest, looking at this, as far as this car goes, a lot of people are fussed about going OEM now, but as we can see, different engine, air filter, strut braces, poly bushes, loads of OEM plus accessories inside. The modern teen on Saxos isn't dead, it's just grown up, got a bit older. Oh. Right, yeah, I'll see you next time for driving. Oh, bloody back.